Hey everyone. Look at me, 2 weeks in a row, and we've got another context recording. Today I had a chat with Firouzeh, who is I'm really bad at these. Just listen.
There are improvement works ahead, so this train will terminate at the next station.
Fake news, folks. Fake news.
Oh, you're so sick. Catch me outside. How about that?
Are you Muslim?
He should have been slapped as a child. He's a spoiled little Greek brat who's probably been treated like a prince.
Okay. Can you hear my voice clear?
Yes.
Okay, can you hear yourself?
Yes, I can.
Are you sure? So, for context, like I said, I asked you to come today and just explain what life was like pre and then post Islamic Revolution. So, we know the revolution is officially started in 1979, Jan 7th. How old were you when the revolution kicked off?
I think I was 15 years old.
Let's say before January 7th. What was life like in Iran, just generally and across social cultures? Because when I see photos from Iran pre-1979, it looks almost like Milan. It's very progressive, you know. It's sort of like Israel is seen in the Middle Eastern world. It's a very progressive nation. Girls are wearing, you know, they're not wearing conservative clothes. They're not wearing hijabs. There's nothing. It looks very modern. So what do you actually remember growing up as far as that sort of stuff?
Yeah, Iran, it was very economy-wise, fashion, education, everything. It was perfect. It was people, they were happy. They live happily and nicely.
Would you say it was, obviously what Iran became was, almost militaristic, like a regime, you know, under Islam. How was it regarding different cultures in Iran? Like different cultures, different religions. Yeah,
many different religions, and also myself, I'm Baha'i, I'm not Muslim. So different religion, they were live together happily and in the peace.
Where in Iran were you?
In Tehran.
Okay.
I live in Tehran.
So you were in the hub of it, and obviously inter religions and different cultures lived harmoniously. Growing up, would you say that you had opportunity for women, men was sort of equal?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Did you grow up with the idea that you could, you could go to school, you could do all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, of course. We were free for everything, for education, girls and boys together. Everything. It was free, and we didn't think of. After revolution, it was everything. It was change. I'm
interested in your family base, like in Tehran when you were there.
Yeah.
Was the majority of your family there?
We lived together. I have 2 sisters and brother. My brother, he was in Turkey study, but my 2 sisters and I and my parents, they lived together happily.
Were they spread across the country, or were they all focused in Tehran?
Actually, for a while, because my father, he was in the general manager of the factory, Westinghouse. So we have to move to another city, which is Hamadan. That city, it was a little bit religious. And my sisters, we all together, we lived there. We were together in that city.
Officially, the revolution started on the 7th. How much before the actual revolution kicking off, how much before did you feel it start to build up? I mean, were you noticing it?
Yeah, of course. People, they just walking the street, fire the cinemas, the schools.
As in burning things down?
Burning down, yeah, killing people.
How much earlier would you say?
Start maybe 6-7 months before the revolution.
So we're at 6 months before the revolution. Before that, Was it a gradual sort of thing? I mean, where you start, because I mean, the whole revolution started obviously because of, discontent with, Pahlavi and because it was like what's the word? It was a royal dynasty. You had a king.
Mm-hmm.
I know there was general discontent with the system, and there was also like, because Iran was pretty Western aligned, from what I know. I mean, when you were growing up, were you watching movies with Elvis, or was that available to people in Iran, like the Western sort of?
Yes.
So you grew up with that whole sort of cultural thing, because I know politically Iran was Western aligned with America, and the discontent sort of started. So we're saying slowly, 6-7 months before it just started happening. Was it from nothing to violence immediately, or was it slow? I mean, did you start by seeing it on news, or how did it all sort of start?
Yeah, probably slowly, but people, they didn't realize that. For example, me, I never realized that. After people, they just walking the street and with the fire, and you can see, for example, teenager people, they have gun, and everyone's scared of them. When you see that, you understand it's something going on. Before that, I didn't realize that.
Did you ever see people with weapons just in the street?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah.
Before the 6 months, or?
No, before 6 months, no.
Never?
Never.
So it was just sort of slowly just started seeing a presence.
Yeah, probably it's something happening before that 6 months, but I didn't realize that. People, they didn't realize that. Would
you say that's just because, I mean, you're Baha'i, obviously, so there was, every community would be closed off to some degree, but, I mean, with the I'm assuming the Baha'i people weren't... we don't go for the... Like politically aligned? We don't go for politically... so it was just this anti-Western sort of sentiment, like the mood in Tehran was just starting to become very anti-Western. Because I know Khomeini was exiled at that time, and I know that the Muslim sector was very unhappy with the fact that Khomeini was exiled. So it was, so once it started, it just became violent overnight.
Yeah, started, and they asking for freedom because they was thinking probably the Shah regime, they don't give them enough freedom.
Did you think there were enough freedoms? I mean, maybe not then because you're 15, but I mean, even looking back now, actually, that's a question I want to ask you.
This is very politic question, and I don't want to compare two regimes together. It is not my business to compare these two regimes. But as my opinion, I'm just asking now, people are free at the moment in Iran, and I say no, unfortunately no.
Okay. Because, I mean, I get different stories from people I know who are Iranian and they've gone back. Mm-hmm. My dentist years ago was a Persian girl, and she was married here, or she was about to get married, but she went back to Iran, and she had to go then and there when she told me she was going because she was changing her name, and her partner was not Iranian or Muslim. Mm-hmm. And she didn't wear a hijab here or nothing. And the hijab is a very iconic thing. You know, when people see it, it makes a statement about someone's religion. Mm-hmm. What I understand with Iran during the revolution was the hijab was a really big thing. It meant freedom to women almost. And women were really politicized in the movement in Iran. Khomeini almost said that, the women were responsible for the revolution. They helped the whole thing happen. As a 15-year-old, I mean, you were Baha'i, so there was a clear sort of divide. How are you singled out during the start of it?
Yeah. Actually, that hijab, it's happened when I left Iran. So that hijab, it's not in one day they force women to get the hijab.
Okay.
It takes actually 2, 3 years, 4 years after the revolution.
Okay.
Force the woman to get the hijab.
All right. So let's put it, that's something we haven't done yet. So put in a time frame. Day 1, January 7th, 1979. How long were you out after? As in, once it started, how long did it take for you to get out?
To get out of the Iran, me, just 1981.
So you lasted 2 years
2 years.
in Iran.
Yeah, in Iran. But my
She's just looking at a producer right now.
yeah. But during 2 years, my mom and I stay in Iran. My sisters and my dad, they left earlier.
How quickly? What was the plan for everyone?
The plan just out of the Iran, but we couldn't go all together as a family. We have to go one by one.
Okay, I'm assuming that the plan was always to go to Turkey?
To go to Turkey.
Is that just because you had family there already, or?
Because it's closer one, and my brother...
He was studying there at the time?
there, yeah, and my other sister also, she was studying in Turkey, become doctor, so the Turkey, it was more closer to Iran also.
How quickly did you make the plan to get out of, I know it took you 2 years for you to get out,
yeah.
But when did the first people start going?
Just next day. Because
the next day?
Yeah, we just stay home, and we were very worried about my dad because he was in the factory. And after that, in the street, I just hearing people saying, Mr. Setki, we killed him. We killed him. And after that, we just worried and we stay home. And after that, after 5-6 hours, my dad, he came home all in blood. And
so why was your father why was he targeted?
Because he was Baha'i.
Just purely religious based, no other reason.
Yeah. And also because he was a general manager in the factory, and all the factory, everything, it was in her hands. So
do you remember what time when the revolution started? How was it announced? How did you?
From television. They said the Shah is gone, and now we are Islam, Republic Islam, and
like that,
like that. Yeah.
How quickly was your father targeted after that? After it was announced?
After announced, because in the morning, just my father just went for a walk, and after 2-3 hours, we just listened to the news, and everything, it was changed. And in the street, our neighbors and things, they said they killed him. Yeah. So everything, it was so quick. You just sleep at night. In the morning, everything, it was changed.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And we couldn't stay in our place because people, they just came. We are going to put the fire in your place, so you have to go. So we just... took a few things, clothing, nothing else, and we just went. And my father, he was injured, and it was very bad. But he said, I can't go to hospital because people are just coming to look after me. So at night, my uncle actually, he came with the car and took my father to Tehran. Because Tehran is bigger city, so no one recognized him. That's why. So he just went. Just gone. Just gone at that night, and we stayed in our friends at that night, and it was a scary night because, especially for me, 15 years old, and suddenly everything, it was changed, and I had a cat. Where is my cat?
Yeah, you're 15. That's what you're looking
15.
For.
Yeah, where is my school? What happened? That kind of question.
Did you understand? What the revolution was about? Obviously you heard, there's this discontent, and the Shah is this, and blah blah blah, and anti-West and all that. But did you actually understand what was happening? Or was it just chaos?
Not really. I didn't understand why.
Did you ask questions? Was it explained to you, or you just didn't have?
No, because at that time I was thinking of my family and what's going to be happen next.
In that house that you were at, how many people were we talking about? as in that lived there? You said like your siblings, etc. How many people was it all up?
My house?
Yeah.
2 sisters, my mom and dad.
Okay, so what about the rest of the building or the rest of the block? Was it predominantly a Baha'i neighborhood or was it mixed?
Yeah, it was Baha'i in the Baha'i neighborhood, but they were safe at that time. They were safe. They just probably because of the factory and things.
So because he was established and in a position of some form of power,
yeah,
an influence.
Yeah,
he was targeted specifically.
Yes.
Yeah. Look, that's pretty standard generally. I mean, even in like say with the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia, when that happened, when the Khmer Rouge took over, a communist sort of regime, they targeted intellectuals, teachers, aristocrats, anyone they thought was educated, anyone they thought had money. They were first to go, and it's always done like that.
Yeah.
So overnight, you've lost how many people left from your house overnight, basically, to get out of where you were?
Well,
everyone just left.
Everyone left. Yeah, we couldn't stay because they said we are going to put the fire and that kind of things. Yeah.
So for the next 2 years, what was your life like?
Yeah, after that, yeah, after a couple of days, I just went to Tehran, joined my dad, and my mom and other sister. They tried to get some of our furniture and that kind of things because we had a very valuable carpet.
Yeah, Persian rugs.
Yeah, Persian rugs, very expensive. At least they tried to get one of those to survive. So I think they did it. They get a few carpet from there. That's it. And after 1 week or how many days, they just came to Tehran as well. And after that, my dad planned to first send my sister to overseas. He went to Spain. And my other sister also, she was married and they went to America. And my dad, after two or 3 months after revolution, he just went to Turkey.
Was there a reason why one sibling went to America, and was that planned for any reason, just to get out, or
just to get out? Which one is available? The ticket and these things is available. They just went there.
Was it hard buying flights out?
Yes. At that time, it was very hard to get the flight and out of the Iran.
When you say hard, is that just because, I mean, the new regime was controlling flights, or because nothing was available because everyone was leaving? I mean, were they going to stop you if you went to get a flight, or did it have to happen? I mean, you didn't just call Qantas up and say, "Give me a plane ticket." I mean, how did it actually happen? Because I'm assuming it would have all been pretty chaotic in that time. Could you get a flight out and just wait, or was it hard to get a flight because the government was controlling things?
I think the government was controlling, and yeah.
So you're about 16 years old at this point, and people are starting to fly out. What were you doing? I mean, were you still at school?
I was in high school, so we just moved to Tehran. We just get a small apartment. It was in 6th floor, and life starts from there. For me, it was different because before that time, I had a driver to go to school, and we had people to help us to go to shopping and that kind. Now, I have to get the bread. I have to go to a queue to get the bread for maybe 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah, to stay there and wait for the bread. To get the food, I have to go to the queue and get the food, and those kind of things is for first time happening to me, and I had to grow up.
How did you see it? Like, I mean, obviously over the next year, I mean, you were growing up. You were seeing it all play out. What was your feeling? I mean, obviously you knew your siblings were starting to move around, and was the plan to go to Turkey made clear at that point? Yeah.
I knew I had to leave the country, but when and how?
It was still up in the air.
Yeah.
Were you able to continue, I mean, with your high school? Were you targeted as an individual for over the next 2 years? Or were you left alone? Maybe because you were a woman or...
No, at that time they didn't force the woman to do anything. That kind of thing is what's normal. To go to a school. Of course, the school, it wasn't boys and girls. This time just girls. So, yeah, I just went to school and tried to study because I knew I had to finish the high school. And
how old were you when you finally got out?
I was 17.
17?
Yeah.
And at this point, how long had you been in Iran with just, was it your mother?
Yeah.
How long had you been on your own?
You mean with my...
Once everyone left and you were the last two left?
Yes.
How long were you just you two on your own?
So it was in 79 they left. So from 79 to 81 for nearly 2 years.
Oh, so everyone left pretty quickly and you were stuck for 2 years?
Yes.
Why were you stuck for 2 years?
Because really I don't know. We had to stay because... and after that, the war started. There is no aeroplane or airport. It was shut down. So we were waiting for the aeroplane and things. And finally, we just realized that there is no aeroplane. So if you want to go out, you have to catch the bus.
The bus.
Yes. Finally, in 1981, when I left Iran, I had to stay in bus for 3 nights and 3 days.
So how did that happen? I mean... Obviously, you're communicating, I mean, with your father and with the relatives and all that. But, I mean, with just you two left in Iran,
yeah.
How did it get organized for you to leave?
Just they got the ticket for me. And my mom stayed in Iran.
Stayed?
Yeah.
So you're by yourself?
Yeah, by myself. Because one by one. Otherwise, if you go with the family, all the family with the surname, because they were looking for that surname.
For whatever reason,
yeah. Yeah, for whatever reason. So we had to plan everything. We have to be careful. So, yeah, I just left by myself. And, yeah, it was scary. 3 nights and 3 days in the bus. And in the bus, I just meet a family, one lady with 3 small kids. So
someone else? Or?
Someone else, yeah, someone else. And
how many people were on this bus that you got on?
Bus, it's a big bus. How many people in the bus?
So you're talking about like a Greyhound, like a big touring bus,
yes,
not a little van or something?
No, big bus, maybe 30, 35 people.
What could you take with you?
Just my suitcase, and I had money as well.
Money?
Yeah.
How much money?
Dollars, maybe 10, 20.
10, 20?
Yeah.
As in, I'm assuming 1,000?
Yes. And yeah, it was just, we try because we need to take some money to Turkey for living.
Were you questioned as to why you were leaving? Like when you got on the bus, I'm assuming you didn't just roll up to customs with a passport and say, I'm going. Mm-hmm. Were you questioned leaving Iran?
No, because at that time it was the war between Iraq and so people, they were busy with that war.
Yeah. So they weren't going to notice you just slipping through.
Yes, yeah. Just 70 years old girl who wants to go to Turkey.
Was the whole journey just driving and just through the day and then sleeping? And I mean, was it literally just driving through? I don't even know what the borders look like from Iran to Turkey. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what does the landscape even look like? I mean, it's not like you got on the freeway and went underneath tunnels and the M1 to Geelong. What would it actually look like the entire journey for you? What kind of terrain was it? I mean,
actually, I can't remember. It wasn't easy, probably.
Was the feeling of war around you? Like you were aware that there was a war going on? Because I mean, it was Iran-Iraq. It wasn't like when. This is the thing this is the reason why I've asked you to come on. People in Australia are so removed from the rest of the world. Mm-hmm. We are so far away from the rest of the world. When things happen, in Iraq or Afghanistan or wherever, people here don't know. They might see it on the news and then they see a clip about Kim Kardashian and they forget about it. People can't comprehend what war is like, or to be in a country that is at war. You know, we sent people to Afghanistan, we sent people to Iraq, we've sent people to so many different conflicts across for the last 20 years, but it's so far removed, it's not a reality. It's nothing. It's just oh yeah. But as a 17-year-old girl on a bus without any family, $10,000 in a backpack, going to a country she's never been to before, you know, as in to move, I can't imagine and I can honestly say I've done as much reading as I can, but I can't actually live it. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I really want to understand what it was like to be in Iran on a bus headed to Turkey. You know, did you ever feel threatened during the bus, like your journey to Turkey? Did you ever feel like you were unsafe?
Yes, of course. But in other hand, also I was thinking I'm very strong. I can do it. So it's kind of mixed feeling. I scared, but in the same time, I am very strong. I can make it. I can do it and take that money to my dad. That's
who you were waiting for, basically.
Yeah.
Were you in contact? I mean, it's not like, and this is the thing, it's not like it's 1981 in Iran. It's not like you have an iPhone and you can just, you know, conference call whoever you want, you know, get on a Zoom with a relative. Were you in contact with your family over the 3 days, or you had no idea?
No idea. No. They just knew I'm just living in that time, and when I'm going to stay, coming to Turkey, they didn't have any idea.
Did they know where you were going to end up in Turkey?
Yes. Even when we feel after 3 days, we just came to Ankara, and my dad just came to Ankara, but at that time I just went to Izmir with the train, so we didn't catch up in Ankara. My dad was worried. What happened to him?
Hang on. So you were meant to stop in Ankara, or you just kept going?
Yeah. Because Iran, from Iran to Ankara. So from Ankara to Izmir, I have to catch the train. Another 8-9 hours.
Were you meant to get to Izmir? Was that the final destination?
Yes.
Okay. And in that time, you didn't have any communication with anyone?
No, there is no communication or anything.
It's insane, because I still meet up with people. If I was meeting up with someone in the city, you know, maybe 10 kilometers from their house and 2 kilometers from my house, you miss a phone call, someone's not there, you start panicking, you start losing your mind. Where is it? Where are you? We're late for this, blah, blah. You literally went from Iran to Izmir, Turkey, with zero communication.
And no language.
That was the other thing I was going to ask you. I mean, you said you had a brother studying in Turkey.
Turkey, yeah.
But you couldn't speak any Turkish at that point?
No Turkish.
So how did you get by? Where did you get food from for 3 days on a bus?
Yeah, from bus, just because the bus they know where to stop. They stop and we get the food, and for 1 hour we just stay there, go to toilet and come back to the bus.
And that was
like that, yeah.
Did you have paperwork on you? Like, I mean, you're crossing international borders. Did you have a passport? Did you have ID?
Yeah, passport.
Was that checked all the way through?
In the border, they just opened my suitcase and everything,
You weren't questioned, though, as in why you were going. They just assumed it was because of war.
Yeah, they didn't question me because I can't speak Turkish, so I'm going to Izmir.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it. Okay.
How did you feel when you got to Turkey? When you got to Izmir, I'm assuming your father was there waiting, or?
Yeah, my father, it was in Ankara.
Oh, the whole time? He didn't even make it to Izmir?
Yeah.
So what did you do when you got to Izmir?
So I just went to Izmir, and after that, my father, they just called them, and they find out I'm in Izmir, so my father came back to Izmir. I saw my sisters after 2 years, my brother. It was fantastic to see them again. And after a couple of hours, my father arrived to Izmir. So,
did you know what was going to happen from that point on?
Next.
Once you got to Izmir, did you have a plan? Did you know? I mean, you couldn't speak the language for one, but you had your family there again, most of your family. Mm-hmm. What were you thinking after that? Like, as far as your future, what were you going to do?
I didn't think about anything at that time. I was happy. I'm in Turkey, and I'm just worried about my mom because she was by herself. But I thought this is the new life.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm young, I can do it, and this is my new life. So this is Turkey. I love it. Everything is nice. People, they were nice. Turkish people, they are very kind.
I've been to Izmir. I loved it.
Yeah.
Everyone was really, incredibly. Even as a Greek in Turkey, everyone's incredibly friendly.
Yes, yeah.
It's a lovely city.
Yeah.
Did you have much connection to Iran after you left?
No, I never go back. And
Never?
Never.
Is there anyone there left?
At the moment, I have just one auntie.
That's it.
That's it.
So everything you'd known for 17, 18 years, just you left it all.
Yeah.
How many more people came across? Like after you left, I'm assuming your mother came across as well?
Yes.
How much later did she come across?
I think after 4 or 5 months.
Okay. Did she take the same journey that you did?
Same journey.
And were there many more people that? What happened to say all your houses, all the warehouses, all the stuff, your like everyone?
I have no idea what happened to my house. So that
no one ever.
No.
And no one in the family, like no one in your immediate family, had any contact with anything in Iran after that.
No.
No friends of the family, no neighbors, anything
no
like
neighbors,
that?
maybe just relatives. Some of our relatives, because some of our relatives, they were Muslim, so they stay in Iran.
They could stay.
Yeah, they could stay, and sometimes they came to Turkey to visit us after many years later.
How long did it take for you to integrate into Turkey? I mean, how quickly do you think you learnt the language? Let's start with the language. That's the biggest one.
Yeah. Maybe after 6 months.
6 months? I mean, you were, 17, 18, so you were getting ready to sort of go into uni sort of thing.
Yes, I was trying to get uni, because even we couldn't stay in Turkey because we had to have a visa to stay in Turkey. That's why...
you were basically on refugee status, but you weren't at war, like as in, you didn't lose your house because of a war. You lost your house because you were persecuted because of your religion.
Yes.
You can't... Yeah. That's complicated even today. Like those sort of situations, people on refugee statuses, extremely complicated, because people don't always qualify for being a refugee. You know, it's like, why did you leave your house? Well, you could stay there. It's like, well, no, I couldn't. Oh, my house wasn't bombed. I was kicked out. It's a very grey area, and I can't imagine what it was like in 1981, because obviously that's a couple of years before I was born, and it just sounds insane. It sounds absolutely insane. How long did it take for you to sort of get a visa and get set up?
Yeah, in 1981, after 6 months, I just learned the language and study to get the uni. So I just accepted business management in Ankara. So I was in Izmir, living in Izmir, but I had to move to Ankara by myself because I accepted there. And my sister accepted in Izmir, economy, something like that. Yeah. And my parents, because they couldn't get students or any visa, they had to go to America. Because my mom's relative, they live in America, so they sent an invitation for them.
Oh, like a green card sponsorship thing.
Yeah. So they went to America and they live in America. So again, I am in Ankara, my sister and brother in Izmir, my parents in America. So
how quickly did your parents go to America after you landed in Turkey?
I think after 1 year. But during this 1 year, they had, because every 3 months they have to leave Turkey.
Oh, for the ongoing visa,
to go to Cyprus and come back, and another three months they can stay. So after 1 year, they just left Turkey and just went to America. So I just went to Ankara, and after a couple of months, I just met my husband.
Will you resign in your head? You'd already made that decision that I am now in Turkey. What was in Iran is gone.
Yes.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. Forget about everything. Whatever I had was my life and everything. Because otherwise you can't live.
Yeah. You have to. Otherwise you're going to always constantly dwell on what could have been. Do you think the revolution, I mean, even looking back at it now, do you think the revolution was going to happen regardless? I mean, the numbers are always disputed, as in when a revolution or something like that happens, some people are shocked. You know, when the outside world looks at it, they're shocked. Like, oh, how did this even happen? They're tyrants, you know, blah, blah, blah. Do you think Persian people were, as a whole, were gearing towards that revolution, to have Khomeini come back and to have the Shah, you know, executed? Do you think the people in Iran at that time were unhappy with the government? And from what you can remember, or even looking back now, I know it's a political question, but I'm just trying to get the opinion of someone who was actually there. You know, I mean, let's compare the situation in Melbourne right now. Every day you see the protests on TV for anti-vax or anti-mask, whatever it is. But the truth is 95% of the country's gotten vaccinated. Mm-hmm. It's 5% that are arguing like the government right now. Mm-hmm. And every time you see on social media someone sharing it, you know, all these sort of stuff that's going on, where, you know, we're the unspoken majority, and where's the support? Someone said to me, you know, they didn't say it to me, I saw it on their social media, they said, 1/6 of Victoria turned up to the protests in the city. That's not a majority.
Yeah.
1/6 is nowhere near a majority.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
But in Iran, the majority wanted the Shah is gone and the Khomeini comes.
Okay.
They now they realize they done the mistakes. Yeah. And I think we Iranian people, we deserve that, because we wanted, not me, just...
Yeah, as a country.
Yeah, as a country, 90% of people, they just wanted to...
remove.
Yeah. Because they told them, after the Khomeini comes, you are going to be richer, you are going to get the petrol money.
Yeah, no.
And they were happy. So now they just realize why they done.
It's honestly, when I think about it, from what I know, and I compare the photos of pre-Iran and then post-Islamic Revolution, say 1979, it's two totally different worlds. Totally different worlds. You'd never think they were the same country. Yeah.
And even the people, they are different now. The new generation, the way they thinking, everything is changed now.
Do you know anyone that has gone back? I mean, you said you've never returned. Have any of your siblings gone back? Has anyone ever gone back to see it?
To Iran? Yeah, some of our friends, they just go back.
And no one ever saw anything to do with the houses or...
That house, no.
It just...
I think they just... I don't know, my house, and because my house and also the factory, they just done the... I don't know, the school or whatever, they done different things.
I'm just stuck. It's just really... It's an insane thing to think that you have to leave everything behind that you've known to start over.
Over, yeah. And start from zero.
From zero?
Yeah.
How were you taken in Turkey? I mean, you've said that you were well received by Turkish people. Was it long for everyone to fall into the Turkish sort of way? Like, I mean, your family, like your immediate family that was sort of starting off, did everyone find jobs, like schools? Did everyone get into routine? Or was it hard, like assimilating?
No,
at that time?
No, it wasn't that hard. Yeah, just for my parents, they were
obviously being older.
Yeah, but for us, it was easy because we just learned the language in 6 months. Turkish language is easy to learn, and at that time, of course, I was 17, so
yeah, you could
learn easier, and no, it wasn't that hard.
How do you feel towards, say, the Iranian government? I mean, you've said that as a people, they've accepted the fact that they made the revolution was a mistake, like it shouldn't have sort of happened. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts towards the Iranian government as a person who was there for that long and left because being persecuted because of your religion? Do you have ill will towards it, or it just doesn't exist anymore? Like, that's it to you as a person. Does it make sense? I mean, do you feel any malice towards a government that persecuted you because of your religion and you were forced to leave?
Yeah, of course I have doubt down, my heart always,
It's always going to be something there.
Yeah, something there, but I try not to and get the peace by myself and accept everything. Because that kind of thing is happened to...
Yeah, it happens.
It happens,
It just happens.
It happens, yeah.
So then, how do you feel? Because this is one reason why I wanted to talk to you about this as well, is because with everything that we've happened through, like with lockdown in Melbourne, and everything that's happened, like from the start of lockdown with COVID and everything the government's done since then and moving forward and the protests, how does it make you feel when you see protests on TV for things like masks?
Yeah.
You know, how do you take that as someone who has left a country and left everything in the middle of the night? How does it make you feel?
Yeah,
does it make sense?
It doesn't make sense. It's funny because it's very funny for the not wearing the mask. They just go to the street and makes everything is difficult, and they asking for the right, human rights. But they don't understand. They just take the other human rights because of them.
I've said this over and over again for the last nearly 2 years now. Every time I hear the word dictatorship, I laugh. I said, that's insane. You don't know what a dictator is. Khomeini was a dictator. Dan Andrews is not a dictator. A government that is trying to save you and they're paying you money to stay home and order Uber Eats, that is not a government that's trying to kill you.
Yeah.
You woke up overnight and a factory was burnt and you literally left with a suitcase. Your family started... does that make sense?
Yes, yeah. If you compare that one with this, yeah.
But that's the point. You have to compare it because people are using the same language. They're using the same language and they think they can get away with calling it the same circumstances. And when people have not lived something that you've had to go through. Does that make sense? Like,
yes.
It's infuriating because people like you exist all over the world, and I deal with it a lot, especially being in Melbourne. We have a lot of refugees here coming from Africa, coming from the Middle East, coming from anywhere, and people don't see these sort of things. Whereas you literally had to leave everything you had and you just started over. Did you ever feel, after you were with your family, did you ever feel like it was ever going to go backwards, or did you feel like it was going to progress, it was going to get better? Once you were in Turkey, did you... it never felt like that was the end. You had hope to sort of build something.
Yes, of course.
And that's sort of what I'm trying to get at. People feel hopeless because they have to wear a mask, whereas you left in the dead of the night, and 3 days without communicating with anyone, and you're here. From what I know you've traveled, you've lived in America, you've lived here, you've moved around a bit. You've had opportunities, and that's from starting from nothing. Period, nothing.
Yeah.
How do you feel like looking back at that now? At the whole journey. Do you feel like you made the most of that circumstance? You were brave enough to get on that bus, Can you compare it to... I'm just trying to think of a way to word it.
Yeah, life is always like that. This is life. One day you have everything, and next day you don't have. You have to start from zero. It's not end of the world. You have to start over again, and each time you get more stronger. So you have to deal with it.
I think that's the most...
you have to accept it.
I think that's the best piece. That's the strongest bit of advice anyone has ever said on 5 years of doing this podcast. You have to deal with it and you have to accept it.
Yes, yeah.
That's brilliant.
And when you accept that the good things is coming, you have to be strong and concentrate to something and just go for it. And that good things is coming to you. It's never end of the world.
I'm just humbled. That's the most positive thing anyone's ever said in this room ever. I'm serious. Because it's coming from a place even I couldn't even comprehend. That's so pure.
Yeah, for example, I just came to Australia, so start over again. I didn't want to come to Australia because in Turkey I was stable and everything, it was good.
Yeah, it was set up.
Set up. And just my husband wanted to come to Australia. So after different things. And after that, we just decided to come to Australia.
How did you find coming to Australia?
It was hard again because I have to learn the language, to know the culture and start over again. And I didn't want that. But I have to accept it, and I just came with my husband and we start over again. And I'm here. But the things is, after my husband passed away 4 years ago, so I just, again, I have to start it. And this time I had to start from negative, because always I start from zero, but this time negative, because I lost something. So it takes longer.
But that's the point. You just keep persevering.
Yeah, to be positive and fight for the life.
How did you find coming from, say, Turkey to here? I know it wasn't something you wanted to do initially. How were you received as, a Baha'i Iranian from Turkey when you got here? I mean, could you speak English when you got here?
No.
At all?
At all. Yeah, just a little bit from high school.
Yeah, little things.
Yeah.
How quickly did you find assimilating here? How did you feel you were... What year did you get to Melbourne?
Yeah, 1989. Monash was 1990.
So 1990.
1991, something like that, yeah.
Did you have issues assimilating here? I mean, with Australian culture? I mean, they would have looked totally different.
Totally different, yeah. It was harder. It was
you think it was harder?
Harder, yeah. When I went to Turkey, it was more easier because at that time I was younger. And the culture, it was not much difference. But here, everything, it was different. It was harder for me to,
I can only imagine that because, I mean, I've said this a couple of times over the last couple of days. When people ask me, people always compare Greeks and Italians, culturally. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, they're not the closest. They're not the closest. Who are the closest? I said, honestly, Turkish people and Serbian people. Mm-hmm. If Greeks and Turks had the exact same religion, we'd be exactly the same, 100%.
Yeah, I know.
We'd be 100% the same. So that's why I'm wondering what it was like coming here. I mean, obviously you're older, and it's a new country, new language again. Mm-hmm. What did you do to assimilate here? How did you find yourself coming into the system? I mean, did you have family here?
My brother. He was here. My brother.
When did he get to Australia? Like a long time before you, or?
Yeah, long time before me because he just finished a study, so that's why.
So he left Turkey and came to Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had someone here to sort of help you in. Did you do what you could to assimilate into Australian culture? I mean, like with friends, work, like all that sort of stuff, or did you try and find similar people like Iranians, people that were Baha'i as well? How did you sort of get into the mix?
Yeah, I try to be mixed with the Australian people because that the only way we could adaptation.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy, but my husband, because at that time, because I had a husband, so it was more easier.
Yeah, it was a different dynamic. I mean, when you went to Turkey, you were a kid.
Yeah, and I'm by myself. I had to decide whatever to do and that kind of things. But this time, because my husband, we plan and we decide and we do together. That's why it's a little bit easier for me. All responsibility, it wasn't in my shoulder.
Do you think Australia has offered you as many opportunities as you could possibly sort of have for you, your life, your families?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if there was other countries, if you were in Iran, okay, and then you had to go to Turkey, and let's say you're a young woman, would Australia have been one of the better places to come at that point? Whether you wanted to or not at that time, would it have been the right choice? As in what you know about this country moving forward and everything you've done here? Would you say Australia is, as someone who's escaped a country because of persecution, is Australia one of the better places to actually come, to set up a family, to set up a house and all that sort of thing?
Definitely, yes, yeah. definitely. Australia just give everyone the opportunity to start over again and live. Yeah, definitely.
How do you feel? I know you said you were worried about not remembering things, but I think you've remembered more than
when you're asking question, it just comes to my mind. But if I think over again, everything is just...
This is something I didn't get to ask before. I mean, you were targeted, obviously, like once it all came in. Did you find people that you knew turning on you personally? I mean, obviously you lived in a neighborhood that was Baha'i, but you would have had Muslim friends. I mean, you lived in Iran. Mm-hmm. Did you find people's attitudes just change towards you?
Because they had to.
There was no choice.
Yeah, they had to. And because they could kill us in the house, but they said you should go out.
They gave you the chance to get out.
Yeah. Otherwise they kill. And they might be killed my dad.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
For whatever reason, he was spared.
Yeah. So they had to. Yeah.
I have no words. I'm really sorry. It's just, All I can say is thank you, like, for actually coming down and sharing this.
Thank you for asking me.
No, I've stressed this, like, I've heard this story before, like, as in not all of it, but I've heard the general sort of, I know I have an idea of what you sort of passed, but it never occurs to you that of this journey that you've had?
Yeah, I was thinking, but that today you give me, I become more positive because what I done, it's big things actually.
It is.
I'm proud of myself actually.
You have to be. No, I'm being honest. You have to be.
Yeah, and now I'm just thinking, I can't do it. At the moment, I can't do anything.
What do you mean?
For example, just by myself go to bus for 3 days, 3 nights and just go to another country. It's not easy.
No.
Scary. I'm just thinking, how did I do that?
Strength. Literally strength.
Yeah.
I mean, you were given no choice.
When you had to do something, when you don't have any option, you have to do it.
But that's exactly it.
Yeah.
But you seized the moment of whatever it was, and that's the end of it.
Yeah.
To be able to rebuild 3 times over in a lifetime, that's commendable. That's incredible strength that most people would never understand, because most people don't have the strength to start over, and that's what's annoying, especially with lockdown. Everyone's saying my business is shut and I've lost this and this. Yeah, but you didn't lose your life, Yeah. And that's the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You've honestly never looked back to just take that all in?
No. Just sometimes talking with the friends and
obviously,
this happened, but it wasn't that just makes me move. I just moved. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming down.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
My pleasure, honestly.
Hold up.